Heiko, do you actually know the movie Groundhog Day?
Yes, Katharina, that's the film where Bill Murray is stuck in a time loop, reliving the same day over and over again, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. So actually what happens is that sometimes a year is like a day. And we would like to wish you all a very warm welcome to the grand final of the Digital Campus Challenge 2021. Today, broadcasted again from our headquarters in Leverkusen, Germany. The two of us will guide you through the next 3 hours. My name is Katharina.
And my name is Heiko. As you all know, we planned to stream it from Warsaw. I have practiced the greeting so many times. Dzień dobry Warszawo, witamy w finale konkursu Digital Campus Challenge. And my brother-in-law's Polish wife even understood it now and then.
I didn't understand a single word, but I'm deeply impressed. But not only the Digital Hub in Warsaw is one of the great places where all of Bayer's digital magic happens.
Right. The Digital Hub's motto is not only accelerate digital, but work from anywhere. So we have adapted this for ourselves, stream from anywhere.
Yes, back at short notice on the DCC stage and in the room with the ball pit here next to us in Leverkusen.
It's Groundhog Day, but they can't see it, I guess.
Yes, but at least we are returning to hosting the final in pairs, as we did in 2017 and 2018 at the BICOM.
I remember, yes, it's like a time loop from 2018 as we both rocked the BICOM, but that's just the right way to do. Just when we finally managed, after 4 years, to have a balanced gender ratio. I'm very proud of it.
Of course you are, Heiko. I'm proud of it as well, so we're both proud of it.
That's really cool.
Everything on this planet is, however, still influenced by the pandemic, including this final again. It was usually the only analog part of the digital competition, and we normally invited the teams to our headquarters and they amazed us here with their ideas. But one thing is still the same as last year and as the year before. Innovation is more than digitalization, but somehow there are kind of Siamese twins, and digitalization is taking place everywhere and affects all of us.
I can't agree more, Katharina. So we ask students from universities all over the world, what effects do you think all these new digital technologies will have? And how can they leverage in agriculture, healthcare, and IT solutions to improve people's lives?
And we wanted to hear what you think. And you guys gave some really, really great answers. A big virtual thank you to all of your answers and questions.
We can't wait for the 14th, the digital Formula One, joining us here today virtually to provide an answer to the crucial question:
what will Bayer look like in 2031? The teams here will present new opportunities to harness the strengths of digital technologies and live our vision.
Health for all, hunger for none.
Last year, the DCC 20 increased our knowledge about digital therapeutics and data science dramatically. But we're still keen how data-driven farming helps to feed the world and how cybersecurity protects data and encourages patients to share it.
We addressed, together with our partner Agorize from France, IT and digital talents from all over the world, taking a look at 4 exciting and highly topical questions on the subject of digital health and information technology. It was digital therapeutics, data science, cybersecurity, and data-driven farming. The response was really, really amazing.
So yeah, really incredible. Here are just a few figures. After the end of the participation deadline, we had 1,171 participants, 334 teams, 229 deliverables, and believe it or not, 82 countries. That's a lot.
After the voting stage, we invited FATNA from France for digital therapeutics. It's a pity. This will be a final of 3 due to a Corona infection and a cancellation on short notice. FATNA cannot participate today, so get well soon.
Yeah,
That's what
wishing
we
you
say.
all the best.
Wishing you all the best. But then we have the PLC 50 hunters from Indonesia for data science. We have the great world changers from the US and Malawi for cybersecurity. And last but not least, from France, CMSI for data-driven farming. And after we drew the lots at the end of November, this is the order of the pitches. From 2:30 to 3 o'clock, PLC 50 hunters.
The duo from Indonesia, one in the data science section, will present a drug discovery web application based on deep learning and transfer learning AI technology in the final.
And I learned they will do a live demo in
Amazing.
this pitch.
Yeah.
It will be amazing. From 3 o'clock to 3:30, CMSI.
Those 5 guys provided a holistic contribution on data-driven farming, with which the 5-member team answers the question, how can data improve precision farming in Brazil?
Ah, Brazil. Last year's BCC winner is from Brazil. Okay, from 3:30 to 4 o'clock, the world changes.
The trio from the US and Malawi present a new way to prevent insider security threats, and they have won the preliminary competition for cybersecurity.
And you all won half an hour due to the cancellation of FATNA. You will see the great Bogusław Tobias, the head of the Digital Hub Warsaw, and he will give us a great introduction about Accelerate Digital. That was a lot of information, Katharina, but information is as important as innovation.
Of course, and innovation is part of Bayer's DNA, and it is of key importance. So we are happy that Kehren, our Senior Vice President, Digital and Commercial Innovation, as well as Chief Information Officer at Bayer Pharmaceuticals, is able to join us for the final pitches. Thanks a lot, Jeanne. So in a moment, Jeanne will say a few words of welcome to the candidates and give you a good impression about digital innovation with purpose at Bayer.
Yep, and that fits in well with the digital background of the Bayer jury. The 4 finalists, I have to correct myself, the 3 finalists, presenting their vision of the future today, have been selected from a pool of brilliant candidates and tremendous teams by our esteemed panel of judges from Bayer departments. Be sure, every single one of you here today is a winner. But at the end of the day, only one team will have made it onto the virtual podium.
And the number 1 of 334 teams will win a superb trip to a city with B, like in Berlin, in 2022. And due to the coronavirus, you'll meet there the 2019 winners from Singapore, D-Foot, and the Brazilian champs from last year, the Chemometrics.
I would like to say a big thank you to the more than 40 judges and also to the mentors who have prepared these teams for the event today, broadcasted from lovely Leverkusen to all over the world. I'm sure you were not bored and had a lot of things on your desk. But once again, thank you so much for going the extra mile in these turbulent and crazy times.
So, if you are an enrolled student and you're interested in taking part in the Digital Campus Challenge 2022, all the mentors are experienced Bayer employees who will clarify technical questions, they will act as sparring partners to bounce off ideas, and they will prepare the teams for their final pitch.
And last but not least, if you like to tweet or Instagram about the final pitches, please use the hashtag
DCC21.
Let's bring it to trending topic.
Spread the word. And now, cher Jean, we prepared the digital stage just for you.
As we learned from the ball pit room, Jeanne has not arrived yet. So this is live. Everything is not a conserve or we prepared it before, it's live, guys. So I have a look on my control screen and I see the great guys from Indonesia. I see Alessandro in the Zoom conference. You know, it's around about 10 10:30, 10:15 in the evening at their time. For an old guy like me, it's bedtime, obviously.
Fishing for compliments, Heiko, as always.
So I have a look on my control screen, guys. If you are prepared, PLC 50 hunters, if you're able to start, and I see a nodding, give me a thumb, Alessandro, if this was a nodding. Yeah. We will wait 1 minute or so for Jeanne.
Yep.
And I'm
here.
in time. Marvelous, wonderful. Merci beaucoup, Jeanne. So you give the guys from Indonesia, let me say, 15 minutes of time to prepare themselves again. And I'm very happy, and I mean it by heart, that you're here in the live stream.
So you just let me know when we start. I do my little introduction about the impact of digital and the importance of being innovative and pragmatic. And then I will have to jump out because I fitted you between two meetings.
That's the way that sometimes, yeah, you have to jump in. That's digital as well. I told them that you will tell us, not only the finalists, but all the guys on the audience, on the live stream, something about, let me say, digitalization with purpose and how digital can support our mission, health for all, hunger for none.
Curious to hear from you, Jeanne.
Yeah, great. I didn't prepare any slides because I mean, toward the end of the year, I think we all overdosed already on slides. Go. So,
if you're waiting for a thumbs up from us, here it is.
So you tell me whenever.
Yeah.
Yes,
you're ready to go.
On. We're waiting for you.
Okay. Oh, I'm very sorry that I kept you waiting for me. I think it's first of all, it's my pleasure, and sorry, I'm kind of sneaking and jumping out of one meeting, going to the next. But I thought it was important to connect with you, and to connect with you because we need, to foster this innovation purpose that we all carry, and the thing that is driving us to be in the industries we are in. Talking about digital, I mean, there is a real enthusiasm for digital. But the problematic is actually that digital can mean everything and anything. And digital is a set of tools and technologies that are developing at a fantastic speed right now. We see the power of those being applied in different sectors, in different industries, in different, areas of our daily lives. And we see what kind of revolution, disruption they can bring. We also see that our customers, our patients, the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare systems, the pharmacists, the farmers, all our customers are living in a world which is more and more digitalized. No way in hell we are going to come back and propose to them a completely analog experience. We have an entire new generation of people we are supposed to serve who expect to be served in a way where technology is going to help them. And going to help them for what? To have a much better experience. So digitalization is very important for us as a company, for us also as an industry, but I'll focus on for us as a company. What is it good for? If you think about other industries and you compare the pre-digital to the post-digital era, you realize that what it does essentially is to remove tension, frictions, and inefficiencies. And the purpose of using those tools is not to use tools for using tools. It's to use tools to actually make the way we work more efficient, remove the tension, frictions, and inefficiencies and the lengthy things that can get in our way. But it means also that in everything we do, we need to sometimes rethink our processes. You can't take an analog process and just map it to a digital one. It doesn't make sense. You need to rethink. You need to think again. And you need to think again with exactly what you mentioned, to start with, to start rethinking with the purpose in mind. How am I going to create more value and a better experience inside the company and outside for the people we interact with? Another aspect of digital is extremely important. As you can develop new business out of that. And you can develop new business out of that mostly based on extracting information and value out of data. If you start digitalizing, you're going to foster the systematic capture of data, which means you can also start having a systematic use of those data. But the more important is not actually to accumulate the maximum amount of data. The most important thing is to know what questions you want to ask the data. How do you need to shape them, organize them, analyze them to answer a business question? I'm going to take a very simple example from pharma and from what we do and what we think we can do more. In the pharma industry, there are a lot of cases where you could think about digital health and a better use of data. I'm going to start with our, key customer, I would say, is the person we need to serve, the patient. A patient today, in the interaction with the healthcare system, you need to realize that somebody with a chronic disease will have very scarce interactions with the healthcare system. And as a consequence, a very scarce amount of guidance, support, feedback, and help. 99.9% of the time is spent outside of the doctor's office. And during that span of time, how do you help the patient to deal with chronic conditions? How do you provide a service where you can help people in managing their condition without being invading, with giving them the possibility to act without preempting on their time of their life? How do you make insights, scientific insights, medical insights accessible and usable for people who are not experts? How do you give them the possibility to have a light and nice and guiding hand, coping with them and sometimes for them with a condition that comes many times from coming from multiple factors? So that's why we start to work on developing digital healthcare platform. And a digital healthcare platform, what does it do? It has an interface with the patient, with the person. It has a lot of data and insights and advice and content. And it's harvesting data. And out of those data, you start to integrate not only a treatment, not only a condition, not only a top-down medical view. You start to generate an amount of insights that helps you to understand the person, how the person is living with the condition in his or her personal environment. Out of those data, you can start to extract patterns, to adapt advice, to give the right incentive at the right moment. And believe it or not, it works. And it works pretty well. We have now enough data on diabetes to know what it does. And I was looking with our collaboration partner, OneDrop, on the data last week. And what you actually see is that, well, a lot of the patients with diabetes type 2 are not at goal. They are not managing their glucose well enough and so on, in spite of treatments. And you realize that the benefit you can do on having this digital health platform in terms of reduction of one of the key markers of the disease, HbA1c, it's the same I've seen time and time again with the basic oral treatments of diabetes. Basically, a digital health platform with the right intervention can be as efficient as basic treatments of diabetes. I think it's something very important. We do not treat a disease, we treat a person. We need to enable the person. And there is a lot we can do in that direction. It's one of the purposes. We are also trying to find solutions and understanding, what gets in the way for farmers in crop science and helping them, to assemble the different data and to help them making better decisions or making the right choices for them. Digital needs to have a purpose. Data analytics, data modeling, and artificial intelligence, machine learning, whatever the technology, it needs to be driven by the right question. And that's one of the challenges, because it's easy to be fascinated by those very impressive technologies and their ability to treat amounts of insights and data that we as poor human beings with only one brain have sometimes a hard time to comprehend. But our role as innovator, as also setting the right direction, is to ask the right questions and to be very clear on what is the problem we want to sort. If we are very clear on the problem we want to resolve, on the pain point we want to address, then you won't need to stretch your head and your brain to find a business case. We want to use digital to solve problems that do exist and are getting in the way of the people we serve. And if you do so, believe me, there will be always an audience and attraction for that. So, innovation, digital, both have the same property. They can do a lot of things. You can innovate, you can digitalize. But we need to do that for a very good reason. We need to do that with a purpose, with the value in mind, and with the impact in mind. And this being said, first of all, thank you for allowing me to have this time with you. And I wish you a great, great session. And congratulations to the winners of this challenge. And also congratulations to everybody who participated, to have the courage to try, to stretch out of your comfort zone and to explore. Innovation needs exploration, and we need people to take the risk of exploring with us, for us, and for all of our customers in Bayer. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Jeanne. That were really inspiring words. And I wrote down, digital needs a purpose. And I'm dead sure that within Bayer, we're in the right company to combine purpose, impact with digital. What do you think?
Definitely agree. And also insightful words from you, Heiko. But thanks a lot, Jeanne. So we're now coming to the part that probably the teams have been looking for at least 30 minutes, if not at least for the whole week. So To you teams, you will now have 20 minutes each to present your project pitch. After that, you will be asked questions by your mentors, but also by everybody who just dialed in. So to you, just watching the show on screen, thinking you can lay back and just enjoy, of course, you're allowed to do that, but would love to hear your comments, your questions. So please post them in the chat and the teams will do their best to answer them.
And I try to do multitasking, even if I'm not able to as a man, but I will have a look on the chat as well in order to patch it to the mentors, as our great intern Aranan is doing as well. So now, who's up? Who's waiting the whole time? The PLC 50 hunters from Indonesia. And it's up to you guys. You have 20 minutes of pitching and then 10 minutes of Q&A. And you were well prepared by your great mentor, Jens Krapol, who is in the call as well. Good luck. Enjoy. The stage is yours, Guy.
Thank you for the opportunity. So we will be presenting about drug discovery for the NTDs. So I will start. So have you ever heard of NTDs? So NTDs stands for neglected tropical diseases. But why are they called neglected? Because they've been ignored by the pharmaceutical industry and public health coverage in general due to the insufficient economic returns in making drugs to mitigate NTDs. But why insufficient economic returns? Because first, NTDs, or the neglected tropical diseases, generally afflict the world's poorest people. And second, the process of discovering and developing drugs is too expensive and lengthy. As a result, NTDs have gotten less attention than other diseases. But what if we told you that we had a solution that used AI, or the artificial intelligence, to make drug discovery and development faster and cheaper? And we also have a prototype ready to show you right now. But before we go into details, let us first introduce ourselves. In Indonesia, there is a proverb or saying that goes something like this: "Jika tak kenal, maka tak sayang," which basically means you cannot love someone unless you know them personally. So, my name is Brian. I'm a computer science student who come from Indonesia, specifically from rural area called Sambas.
And my name is Alessandro, also a computer science student from a village named Sepau, Indonesia. Both me and Brian really like technology, and we want to innovate a solution with digitalization that can help us in providing better life for everyone.
So, we will present our solution to address the problem of high costs and long development times in the drug discovery and development process. Furthermore, we expect by tackling this issue that will be the first step toward curing NTDs, which is consistent with Bayer's mission, Science for Better Life, by utilizing data science. However, we must first understand what NTDs are and why the drug development process is so costly and too long. So, neglected tropical diseases, or NTDs, occur among the world's poorest people who live in tropical and subtropical developing countries with inadequate resources, as evidenced by poor medical infrastructure and sanitary conditions. Endemic populations also tend to live in close contact to domestic animals and livestock, which worsen the spread of NTDs. The World Health Organization, or WHO, indicates that more than 1 billion people are afflicted with one or more NTDs in 149 countries. Moreover, NTDs has a cost over than 35,000 deaths per day worldwide. So in terms of long-term disability, illness, and death, NTD impose a heavy burden with severe social and economic consequences in the developing world. But NTDs have been largely ignored by the drug manufacturers for decades. As a result, the control of NTDs is still inadequate and extremely difficult today. So we know that drug plays an important role in treating and curing diseases, right? However, NTDs have been ignored by the pharmaceutical industry and public health coverage because the drugs to treat NTDs do not generate adequate financial returns for the pharmaceutical industry. Thus, there is no motivation or incentive for them to invest in the research and development, or R&D, to create drugs for NTDs. But you might ask, where is the proof? So according to the statistics from Wang and Associates, in the period between 1975 and 1999, there were about 1,393 new drugs were approved, but only 13 or 0.93% of them were for NTDs. From 2000 to 2014, there were 66 novel products enter phase 1 clinical trials intended to prevent or treat NTDs, but it only accounts for 1.65% of all 4,006 phase 1 trials. Therefore, the current business model for the new drug development favors developed countries with populations or governments that are able to pay for the drugs, allowing corporations to repay the extremely expensive development costs. So this is one of the major reasons why most tropical diseases are neglected. So now we know the major reasons of why tropical diseases are neglected, which because of the process of drug development that is too costly and also too long. However, what makes the process so expensive and lengthy? Well, drug discovery is a process which involves identification of a useful drug chemical in treating and management of a disease condition. One of the major challenges in drug discovery is the identification and selection of valuable lead compounds from a number of equally active samples. So according to Sonowayne and Associates, drug discovery and development is an expensive process due to the high budgets of R&D and clinical trials. It takes almost 12 to 15 years to develop a single new drug molecule from the moment it's discovered to the time it is accessible on the market for treating patients. So each effective medicine is expected to cost between $900 million and $2 billion in research and development or R&D. So this figure includes the cost of thousands of failures for every 5,000 to 10,000 compounds that enter the investigation and development pipeline. Ultimately, only one attains approval. So the current drug discovery process often uses the HTS or the high throughput screening to test millions of compounds experimentally in early phase. So it's a commonly used method to identify bioactive compounds. However, HTS or the high throughput screening tend to give a high rate of false positive results. So from this, it explains why so many compounds don't make it and why it takes such a large, lengthy effort to get one medicine to patients. Then what is the solution? So the moment that we're waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce you Sandika, which in Sanskrit means is matching, an AI integrated website that will help researchers in identifying the possible lead candidate to make better resources allocation plan for drugs research. But before I go into the details about the general concepts of our prototype, I need to define these two terms, which are PIC50 and SMARS. So starting from PIC50. So PIC50 is the negative log of the half maximal concentration needed to inhibit the protein activity. Therefore, higher PIC50 value, meaning that the chemical compounds are more bioactive against the drug target. So for our current prototype, we are using the HIV-1 integrase dataset and fit them into the machine learning models. The reason that we use HIV-1 integrase is because according to Simon on his article, impacts of neglected tropical diseases on incidence and progression of HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria in 2016, the HIV disease is correlating with NTDs, where a study shows in Zimbabwe that someone with NTDs have threefold high risk of acquiring HIV infection. So there is an evidence of clinical relationship between NTDs and HIV infection as a result of several helminthic, bacterial, and protozoan NTD core infections. So new evidence is beginning to demonstrate greater susceptibility and enhanced progression of HIV disease. So therefore, for our solution, all the researchers do is submit the SMARS, or AKA Simplified Molecular Input Line Entry System. Well, SMARS is used to translate a chemical three-dimensional structure into a string of symbols that is easily understood by computer software. Then the researchers can just use our solution without any prior knowledge about machine learning. They just need to submit the SMARS into the system. So in the next slide, we will show you the general concepts on how our prototype works by giving an example. First, the researcher will choose the compound. For this example, we choose curcumin. So from the side, we can see the chemical formula for the curcumin. Afterward, the researcher will have to look for the SMARS representation for curcumin, since SMARS encapsulates the chemical structure of the compounds. These chemical structures can also be represented as graph data with nodes. these nodes show how atoms are connected with each other. So this mouse representation of curcumin will be fit inside the machine learning models that will be either graph convolutional model or attentive FP model. Then this model will extract that graph data and use the knowledge about the relations between nodes to predict the PIC50 value. Then why should you care about a solution? Because first, one of the main benefits of using our solution is no prior knowledge needed for researchers wishing to use our machine learning. And the second main benefit is researchers can focus on validating the most promising compounds from the predicted result. What do you mean by that? As I've mentioned, one of the major challenges in drug discovery is the identification and selection of valuable potential lead compounds. So that is where our solution comes, where it helps in identification and selection early phase in drug discovery and development process. So regarding the live demo of our prototype, I will pass it to my teammate, Alexandro. I pass it to
Brian. For the prototype itself, the process that will need to be done by researchers is really simple. We call it as two-step and all set. In order for researchers to identify the potential lead candidates, they only need to write an input, choose a model, then they will get the output. To give you a better feel, let me try to demo it for you right now live. So you can access the website that we've deployed by using this link. And then you can open this page and write the input in the form of small string like this. If you can recall, SMILES or Simplified Molecular Input Line Entry System is a representation of chemical structure in the combination of symbols that can be understood by computer easily. So after we input the SMILES, we can press the next button. And we can choose the model we want to use. We got GraphCom model and attentive FP. Both models are actually using the same technology, which is graph neural networks. The difference is on the occurrence of the attention mechanism. Attentive FP use attention mechanism to focus more on the nodes that have more contributions toward the PIC50 value predictions, where GraphCom model does not have these implementations. So for this demo, let's choose the second model, attentive FP, and click next. Please wait for a while. And the result page should look like this. So we should be able to see the PIC50 value here, and also the chemical properties of the compounds that we want to find out whether it can be a potential lead candidate or not here. So short review. 50 is the negative log of how maximal concentration needs to inhibit activity. Hence, the higher number that appear in this page, the more possible the compound will be bioactive against the drug target, where in our case, it should be HIV. Let's get a bit into our presentation slides. We conduct a survey to know more about what people think about the project of identifying potential lead candidates. Most of our survey participants agreed that there are still a lot of diseases that have no drug which can be used to cure the disease. And most of them also agreed that technology has helped us a lot in discovering new drugs, showing that part about the drug discovery issue. Most of the participants also said that the website is easy to use, inferring that anyone, even researcher with prior knowledge about AI, should be able to use the website to identify the potential lead candidates in the drug discovery process. All right, for this slide, let me try to open my. All right. We also want to tell you that the model that we have trained, everyone integrates dataset, GraphCom model, and attentive FP have performed well, where the best model is given for attentive FP. How can we get into the conclusion that attentive FP is better than GraphCom model in identifying the potential candidates? So, both models were actually measured by the R-square value and also the RMSE value. RMSE, or root mean square error, is measuring the spread of the predictions. Hence, we should aim for a lower RMSE value to make sure that the PIC50 value prediction will not deviate too much. Hence, we can get high accuracy in potential candidates to have better resource allocation in drug discovery. As you can see on the left bottom corner of the screen, right bottom corner of the screen, attentive FP is having lower RMSE, meaning lower deviation of the predictions. So we can say that added in this performance matrix. The other failure measure is actually the Oscar. It basically measures how many predictions fall in the expected range. Hence, we can say that in infer with RMSE, we expect the R-square value to be as high as possible. As you can see on the left top corner of the screen, added FP show higher value in this metric, inferring that more PSC50 were correctly predicted in the expected range. All right, let me try to turn off the point. All right. So in simple terms, to actually measure the accuracy of the PSC50 value predictions. ADFP has shown potential in this field according to its test set performance. It has the R-square value of more than 0.8 with RMSE of around 0.5, inferring that the models PSC50 value with good accuracy to help the researcher in filtering which compound they be the potential lead candidates. Right, we have the products. We did well enough, but a good innovation should also come with several possible development that we can do. First, by utilizing generative model. At this point, we have been able to have this find which compound that might have higher chances to be the potential lead candidates. A compound that has higher potential to cure a certain disease with some modification on the structure. By using generative model, instead of just predicting a certain value, we should be able to generate a synthetically feasible compounds by using our model. We use other descriptors, not only limited to PSC50, we can try polar surface area or probably molecular weight to predict the potential lead candidates. Point, but will not be the possible improvement. We know that copy and paste small tree might be also annoying things to do. Hence, we can try to add a feature to also accept a CSV file as an input. Then we can have the identification of possible candidate process to be faster. By enabling researchers to identify potential candidates, Bayer and us can have researchers in saving millions, even billions dollars. Imagine taking only $100 out of 900 million US dollars to filter out the compounds that have lower chances to pass the trials. That's saving around 95% of the. Then all the remaining funding can be allocated towards the most promising compounds. Accelerate the drug development process for related tropical diseases. Both us and Bayer are having the same focus, which is innovating products for fighting related tropical diseases. Both us and Bayer are paying attention on developing innovative products and solutions to improve people through disease prevention and treatment. We want to make a powerful product to make non-disease be neglected, to provide health for all. Aligned with the vision of Bayer, Nation Sustainable Development Program number 3, Good Health and Well-being. One of the 17 goals that have been designed to generate solutions to overcome global challenges. A lot of diseases are still being neglected today. The high cost of drugs has made it even worse. We come with innovations to have researchers in identifying potential candidates so they can allocate their resources towards those compounds. We hope that these innovations, these digitalizations can help us in providing health for all. That's what we mean as data science for a better life. That's all for our presentations. If you want to see more, kindly check this link. The first link will be used to access the website prototype. We'll direct you to the source code and experimental result spreadsheets. Let's make and give endless impacts. We are the PSC50 Hunters. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Guys, that was really great. That was impressive. And nearly 50% I understood. No, it was really great. And it was a premiere, first time that we see a live demo at the final of the Digital Campus Challenge. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah,
amazing, huh?
Same from my side. I was really impressed. Thank you very much, guys. And thank you also for sharing that proverb in the beginning with us. I think it's not just a very beautiful thing to share, but also, of course, a very true quote. Thank you.
So what's about the voting?
Yeah, I was wondering, guys, if you have the intention to vote, which I hope you all want to do, please stay on track because we want to give everyone equal opportunities. This means before we go into the questions and answers round for this really exciting pitch. Please bear with us, stay until the very last presentation and the very last question and answer round. Only after that, we will open the channel for your opportunity to vote for your favorite team and for your favorite project.
Yeah, and now it's up to Jens, if I have the agenda right in mind, to moderate the Q&A session for his team, the PLC 50 Hunters from Indonesia.
Sure, Heiko, I'm happy taking it from here. And thanks also from my side, Alessandro and Brian, great presentation. And I guess it's in particular difficult to kick it off as the first team here. Yeah, considering this, I guess you did a great job here and awesome live demo. So let me look in my chats here and kick it off with the first question maybe. So I think this was a very clear presentation, but maybe help us once again to understand how could this PRC 50 solution that you just presented help in the drug discovery process of Bayer? Let's say we work together, Bayer, with this solution. What would it mean? How would it look like? Please expand a bit on this.
Okay, thank you for the question. I will be answering this question. So to recall, the PSC50 is a negative log of the half maximal concentration needed to inhibit the protein. Whereby it means the higher value of the PSC50, then that particular compound could be the potential lead candidate to be used for inhibiting the targeted disease. So the value of PSC50 could range from negative to positive numbers, whereby higher PSC50 value, meaning the chemical compounds are more bioactive against the drug target. So in conclusion, higher PSC50 value, meaning higher chances of this particular compound to be used to inhibit the targeted disease. Then that promising potential lead candidates could be taken to the next phase, which is the development pipeline to validate whether the promising compound is bioactive against the targeted disease. Then how can this help Bayer? Because our solutions, we're trying to provide a solution to for cheaper and faster option for drug discovery and development process. Not only that, we also want to address the NTD's value. So in the end goals that we're trying to provide drugs that is more accessible and also available on the market sooner to treat the NTDs. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification, Brian. That's very helpful, and you're really tackling a real problem pharmaceutical companies are having. And we heard this before from Jeanne. So we're really doing digitalization with a purpose here. I love it. Thanks for the answer. So next question, maybe you commented on the data set that you're using to train your models. Any more comments on this data? You're using any data augmentation, any data cleaning technique? I can imagine it's a huge data set that you need there. Can you comment on this a bit more?
All right, thank you for the questions. Let me try to answer this one. So yeah, we did and data cleaning. So the data actually comes with a lot of columns with a lot of data, but in the end, actually the model will only need the small strings and also the PSC50 values. So yeah, for the data cleaning, we basically just remove all the columns unneeded here, where in this case, we only left the small string, also the PSC50 value column. So we left with 2 columns only. And then for data augmentations, we actually try to use data augmentation, where in our case, we actually try to use mouse enumerations, where basically we try to take one mouse, and then we try to duplicate it with the same representation of the mouse. And then we also try to add some noises to the Y value. In our case, it should be PSC50 value. So yeah, for data augmentation, we basically do two things, and also noises for the Y value. I think yeah, that's all for the data augmentation and for the questions.
Thanks, Alessandro. And what's the size of the data set? Okay,
so yeah, let me try to see. So the trend data set before augmentation is actually 1,420 data, and after augmentation with smart enumeration and noise and data noising, it's really 15,620 data. So it is quite a lot of data that have data enumerations.
Great, thanks, Alessandro. Now that we are looking into some technicalities here, you haven't expanded much on the difference between the 2 models. Yeah, we learned about the attentive FP, and it was the graph conf model, I believe. Can you expand a bit more? What's the difference between these 2 models?
Right. So let me also try to answer the question again. So yeah, actually anti-FP and graph model, as we have said, actually using the same technology, which is graph neural network. So basically, both model will take the data in the form of graph. Will in our case, the graph will come from the smart enumeration, the smart representation. Sorry. So from the smart representation, the model will actually learn about the graph data from it, all the properties, all the relations, all the nodes, and all the edges, and all the other properties of the. And then from this graph neural networks, both models actually are working with the same, but the difference will be on the occurrence of attention mechanism. So and actually use attention mechanism where it actually put some more weight on the relation that have higher changes or higher effects on the final outputs. So I said that there are two nodes that have higher effects on the final output. So I think the FP attention mechanism will put more weights on those nodes, so it can actually give more effects on the prediction later on. But graph convolutional model does not have this kind of mechanism. So yeah, different is on the occurrence of attention mechanism. That's all. Thank you for the questions.
Great. Yeah, thanks for all the clarifying answers. This, I think, helps to wrap the whole presentation. Let me have a quick look if I see some more questions coming in here. I think if that's not the case, I guess I would step by step hand over back to Katharina and Heiko to take it from here again. And yeah, there's no other question coming. Thus, I would say thank you one more time, Alessandro and Brian, for the great presentation. And I guess we're also good on time to hand back to Katharina and Heiko. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Jens and Alessandro and Brian. It was really, really great. And I mean it by heart. Thanks a lot for this.
Thank you, guys.
I learned from the chat, even if there are no questions in the moment, that there let me say, visitors attending from Ghana, Turkey, Egypt, and even Peru, and two former colleagues as well that did the last year final of the Digital Campus Challenge. So we have the Groundhog Day metaphor again. So
Non, voilà, je contrôle l'écran.
Tu contrôles?
Ah, you're on, but that's good because Martin, I want to say that's what I can see on Zoom, that you prepared the 4 letters of CMSI in the right color. It's in somehow blue and green. That's the Bayer colors. Chapeau for that. Yeah?
Very dedicated. We appreciate it, but it's not going to influence the voting.
We will see, because it's a public voting. We will see. Merci beaucoup for being in time. You win 1 or 2 minutes if there are more questions in the chat. And in general, hopefully you do the right social distancing. In the moment that you have the full screen, they see that your 5 guys are together in one room.
Yes, exactly.
So it's up to you. The stage is yours. The fingers are crossed.
Fingers are crossed, yeah.
Go ahead, guys.
Hello, everyone. We are so happy to be here, and thanks again for voting for us. Today, we will represent the agriculture sector and how data-driven farming. So let's start. Nowadays, you probably know that we are more than 7.8 billion people on the planet. Agriculture is becoming a general concern. And we discovered that the production needs to increase by 70% in the next 30 years. What's more, it is estimated that 690 million people are suffering from malnutrition. And as Bayer said, we need to feed a hungry planet. Thus, we are aware of the difficulties of this sector that every year have to face unforeseen events, problem of water, disease, long period of drought, uncontrollable floods, extreme weather conditions, creating a real challenge for agriculture. That is why we created Soil Tank, the pesticide captor that we will reinvent agriculture. So let me introduce my wonderful team. We are all students at Sorbonne University, and we are the CMSI team. My name is Fanny, the commercial manager.
I'm Marius, the marketing officer.
Hi, I'm Andrea, the project manager.
Hi, I'm Martin, finance and happiness officer.
Hi, I'm Tristan, the data and engineer officer.
So let's have a context analysis overview. So as explained before, the population is increasing and it's become a major concern in our society. Therefore, there is an increase in awareness due to the global warming, but also the dangerous practices that kills every year farmers by the use of inputs. So that's why we realize we really need to change our practices, and there is an emergency for that. Also, there is a really interesting aspect on a technology point of view. Precision farming, it's the first sector that collects funds nowadays, and 70% of farmers are using digital channels daily. Another really interesting point is the legal overview. Why? Because nowadays, it is really complex, the regulation of inputs that in the States and in different countries have different laws, so it's kind of hard to understand for farmers. Finally, because we focused on the Brazilian market, because we believe it's a really important market in the agriculture sector, it's the fourth agro exporter, and it's one of the major complex system in agriculture. So we believe that the future is in the hand of Brazilian markets. So as I said, our target is agricultural cooperatives. Why? Because they have such an influence and they join a lot of different farmers from a lot of different countries. So what are the problems? So we find four main problems nowadays. The first one in the complexity of the regulation from different states. Some states allow some use of inputs and some other don't allow those inputs. Another really interesting point is the difficulty to get an optimized mix of inputs. Finally, they also have a struggle to have analytical report on the use of input that they're using daily. And on the last aspect, it's the heaviness and the dangerousness of the practices and handling those inputs that the farmer use daily. So what do we need to do? How can we change our words? So we design a solution that takes into account the geolocalization of the farmer and answers the compliance issues by helping the farmers daily.
I will now give you a presentation of our solution, Salt Tank, made by the CMSI team. And on the left side of the drawing, you can see the control board, which allows the farmer to select the right amount of inputs to pour in the tank and check the stock as well, or even move the device. The device will move thanks to the mechanical arm that you see in lighter gray. Then in the upper right corner, you have all the input stubs that contains, of course, inputs. And those inputs are going to be poured in the tractor tank on the bottom right corner of the sketch. At last, in red, that's the calculator, the main part of our innovation, which collects and sends all the data to the system. So in the next slide, I will present you the interface, the user interface. The farmer has to sign in the system, and then he has access to two dashboards, ergonomic, personalized for him. So I will start by the one on the left. That dashboard is directly connected to the calculator I just presented to you. And for example, all the information are going to be about the mix of inputs. You have mark number 2, the graph on the left. So the composition of the mix of inputs. And then just next to it, mark number 3, still on the dashboard of the left, that's the legal indicator that allows the farmer to know his position in front of the law. He can know if if his mix can be spread in his fields or not. Then just below, he has an access to general data, some raw data like the stocks, the outward effects of his mix, or some recommendation made by the system. Then I will present you the dashboard on the right, which is a more global overview of all the numbers of the farmer. And he can select only a part of those data thanks to the filters in the upper side of the dashboard. He can, for example, choose only a period of time, and automatically all the information are going to be updated in all the dashboards. And the precision of this dashboard is at the level of the plant itself. So the farmer can choose the right set of action in order to avoid waste of water or waste of inputs. So the main advantages of those two dashboards are the precision of the data and the availability of all of the information in only two dashboards in order to choose the right set of action.
I will now present you our 6-step plan to develop our innovation. We have already completed a substantial portion of our ideation phase. As explained, the aim of a solution is to optimize the use of inputs. In order to go to the next steps, we will need the help of buyer. The regulation around inputs is complex and varies from state to state. We will need to consult legal experts in this field to complete phase 2. Then, for the design and prototyping phase, we will work with bioengineers. We have a clear vision of our solution as explained by Tristan, but it might be subject to some improvements. The testing phase will be crucial. We want our solution to be the most precise and accurate as possible, as we are aware of the health issues it can induce. Then we will communicate around our solution. Later in our presentation, we will explain our marketing strategy. The final step will be the product launch. But to release our project, it is now in your hands to help us. For that, we will present you 4 reasons why you should believe in Soltank.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to talk about the environment aspects of our project. So our main goal is to make possible the detection of crop diseases at an early stage. This to avoid an heavy treatment with inputs into the field. So today, farmers make their own input mixture by following manufacturer's recommendation. But are they mixing their inputs correctly? Are they always aware that the dosage recommended by the manufacturer exceeds the threshold allowed in their Brazilian state? Soltank is a simple calculator capable to extract from tanks the accurate volume of input needed to meet the manufacturer's recommendation to the nearest centiliter. Besides being a valuable reading aid, Soltanks allow farmers to keep up with the dosage without wasting time in their daily work. Indeed, the Soltank teams update the quantities on a daily basis, so that our calculator is a really phytosanitary aid. Beyond the time saved, think of the gesture you're going to do for the environment. Soltanks assures you that you will not use a single drop of pesticides beyond what is needed on your field. Finally, Soltanks not only thinks about the environment, but also about your wallet by making you saving a little more of inputs every day, while preserving crops and groundwater. To conclude this part about the environment of our project, it's important to present data as our best weapon against crop pests. More than a simple measurement tool, Soltanks combine notification and dosing with data accumulation. This allows feedbacks to give to the farmer precise treatment suggestions. More than simple measurement tools, instead of following the usual treatments, why not rely on a modern solution that draws its recommendation from the history of your plots and from experiences of other farmers? You want to join a label or organic specification, opt for Soil Tank, and receive recommendation for switching to more ecological crops, or more directly to biocompatible treatments. What we must learn to do, we will learn by doing it, said Aristotle.
Yeah, sorry.
Our solution will also help the farmers overcome the legal challenges. By ensuring compliance with input laws, it will guarantee exports. It will also help preserve a positive brand image. Finally, it will help reduce financial risk by avoiding fines. I will now let Martin.
Now let's see how great our solution is for the well-being of farmers. What time or money they can gain and can expect, and how it will ease their stock management. Farmers are solidated a lot and they are under a lot of pressure because they work to feed the planet. We believe that Soil Tank is the right solution to help farmers, so we focused on their health, and it was very important for us. Our device will allow a body stress-free. With a simple press on a button, Soil Tank will move, which will be painless for the farmer and no need to carry heavy loads anymore. Soil Tank will reduce the intoxication risk due to manual mixing. We interviewed a various number of farmers and they told us that even with the right equipment, there are still some risk for contamination. So we think that we can help solving the problem with no manual mixing anymore. We want to relieve the farmer even more. Thanks to the calculation automatically generated by Soil Tank, like calculating the legal amount of input at the right period of time for the right culture, farmers will be relieved from these tasks and stress-free. All of that will reduce the risk of work-related accidents, so farmers will have more time on their fields. Our solution reveals also some gains as well. They will save time because of the automatization of long calcul and legal matters. All our features will allow the farmer to do other things that require a human and where they can have an added value. Another huge advance is financial gain. When intensive use of intrants is detected, Soil Tank will be able to tell the farmers and provide them data to reduce the use of inputs and so increase their revenues. And at the opposite, efficiency gain and less production loss are possible. Let's admit that Soil Tank detects that you use not enough inputs, so your production is at risk. It will provide you data with the right recommendation to increase spreading. And it will also ease the stock management as the farmers will receive a push notification. Farmers can also send a direct order to buyer to buy inputs. And now back to Marius.
Thank you, Martin. Now I'm going to speak about data. So today, technology allows farmers to know the condition of their crops to the nearest meter squared. Two main tools allow this analysis, satellite analysis and live analysis, which is done by tractors. These techniques allow farmers to only apply inputs on the infected parts of their fields. To go further, our solution, Soil Tank, will allow the farmers to collect the data on the condition of the plots in order to establish a periodic status of the crops. The idea is that the farmer will see a synthetic indicator table capable of giving him the main information collected during the last tractor pass. This data collected and analyzed by the device will be used to give to the farmer optimized biological indication before preparing their inputs. Secondly, the indicator will show the evolution between the treatment T and the new one, optimize the T+1. This operation allows the farmer to know what is the real impact of his treatment on the crops and if the data collected by the tractor has allowed a positive evolution of the crop condition. The main value proposition of this point is that the farmer can receive periodic reminders, indicators on crop evolution and notifications sent by Soil Tank directly on his smartphone. When the indicators show a negative trend, you have a notification. Finally, Soil Tank is the second brain of the farmer. It allows him to be connected with his crops in order to use the optimal type and amounts of pesticides for this file to flourish. Finally, we were thinking about integrate Soil Tank into the Bayer platform. We are talking about the Bayer Agri platform, and more precisely, combine SolTank with two tools actually used with Bayer. I'm talking about climate field view and feedback.
Now with my financial hats, let me introduce you the business model. SolTank will be introduced on the Brazilian market and penetrates the market via the agricultural cooperative. We think cooperatives are the greatest tool, greatest help for us because they know their specific needs and the specific needs of their farmers. Our revenues will be from a subscription service that will include equipped tanks, machine maintenance, personalized input suggestions, and regional laws explanation and updates in case law change. Now to conclude, back to Andrea.
To conclude, we are Team CMSI, 5 management students from the prestigious University La Sorbonne in Paris, France. Our solution, SolTank, our slogan, further data, fewer pesticides, because we are convinced that data is a powerful tool to optimize agricultural production. Today, the challenge is to make more without increasing the agricultural land. Hence, our innovation identifies precisely crop diseases and generates an optimized treatment plan. Our goal, promote a sustainable use of inputs, optimize crop production, and make agriculture easier. Choose us, choose SolTank, and the soil will thank you. Thank you for your attention, everyone, and please vote for CMSI!
Great, guys. That was really, really great. And I think not only the soil will thank you, but we as well and everyone on this broadcast, on this live stream. Once again, what I understood was groundbreaking. It supports as well smallholder farmers as sustainability. And I really like the choreography.
Yeah, definitely. That's also, of course, the content. And we're really impressed, and everyone else who had the same impression is really, really up to voting for you guys now. Please, as mentioned before, stay on the line, wait until the end of the presentation of the pitches, and then you can give your vote to your favorite team and to your favorite pitch. So if you guys are ready, I guess we can go directly to the FAQ session.
Moderated by Matthias Temple, the great mentor of this team, CMSI. And yeah, it's up to you, Matthias.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, congratulations to this awesome pitch. I mean, very well prepared, very well executed. I really like the background decoration that you put on. That was very spot on. I mean, we choose you to represent the data-driven farming category because you focused on a very important and critical problem in farming, which is really to use crop protection products efficiently, yeah, on the agronomic aspect, but also safe. And safe also means in terms of safe for the human who is doing the work, but also safe for the environment, which means keeping in mind all the regulations that are important to protect our soils. So I think the presentation was really well structured and it was explaining really well what your solution is all about. In terms of questions, I really would like to focus on first on the aspect, okay, you choose Brazil as your starting point. Maybe can you elaborate a little bit more why you choose Brazil and if the solution would work also in other areas of the world and how would your rollout plan for this look like?
So thanks again for everything. So I will start a bit explaining why we choose Brazil. So we didn't explain, but our team is made from people that live in Brazil, they discover Brazil, and especially we went to a school that is really famous over there, that his name is USP, and they have a really strong agricultural system over there, and it's really specified, and they have a lot of technology, and it's really a hub nowadays. I think that Brazil, it's a huge impact on the planet, and they have a lot of agricultural, and I think this is the reason why we think that the Brazilian market is so important nowadays. But for sure, this innovation could be explored in other places. We just started to think about Brazil because we know this market, and it was really interesting to discover and to develop over there.
We also think there was a very good case because for the legal matters, there are countries divided in states, so they have different laws regarding farming, and there is also a huge network of cooperatives there in Brazil. So we thought it was a good point of start point.
And finally, the last point, it's one of the countries that use the most inputs in the world. So it's really important that they have to get the technology that will provide the best mixed and the optimized mix of inputs.
Oh, perfect. That's a very good explanation. And I also like that you focus on one market to start with and then go into other markets later. And one market where you obviously have a lot of knowledge. That's a great answer. Maybe let's talk a little bit more about the hardware piece, the solution that you came up with. What would your approach be to protect the idea? So how would you prevent that someone else kind of copying it? Is there any secret ingredient that you have, or is there any ideas that you have around protection here?
Well, I guess to protect our idea, we could use patterns. That's our first idea, but we are open to other solutions. Maybe if you have another in mind.
We also have an algorithm that can be patterned, and we count on your legal team to help with that.
No, that's always something where we have a big strength. Hey, let's focus a little bit more on the execution part. So you laid out how you planned the overall development process. What would happen if we would be willing to invest 1 million euros today? How would you spend this money? So can you walk us through a little bit the steps that you would take? How would you invest it? What would you focus on as your next steps?
We are, as I explained, one of the major factors in our solution is to make sure that we comply with law. So a big part of our investment will go to the legal experts. Also the prototypes and the testing phase. For that, we will need to divide also our budget to make sure our solution is really accurate and well made. I don't know if someone wants to complete my idea.
One of the main costs will be engineers to develop our technical solutions. And then to manufacture our solution that you saw Drew in our presentations, and also to have regional legal offices that can help to understand the regional law for our solution.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Let me check if we have any other questions here. Maybe you can quickly talk a little bit more about the business model. So when you work with these cooperatives, so how would that exactly work? Would you sell the device or license it, or is there kind of a hybrid where you sell part of it and have a recurring revenue?
So our business model includes cooperatives because it was very important for us to have them with us. Then they can buy a unique subscription for their network of farmers. Then we will have special price for the more you buy a license, more you get a bigger discount. Also a very important part was after the technical service that will be made, and this is a huge things as well, because we don't want to have the farmers blocked with our solution, so we need to have people that can help quickly with them. So we think that cooperative would be great to do that.
Another interesting point as well is we will develop our prototypes and to give to, for example, 2 or 3 cooperatives for tests, and then they will see, because as we explained, Brazil is huge. Like it's I don't remember, but perhaps 10 times the size of France. So it's a huge place. So you cannot just go all around the Brazil, because it's not possible. So we will focus first on some states, like there is one who's really famous for agriculture, is Mato Grosso, and we will have some commercial happening with some cooperatives that have different farmers in different places, to see how it is working, and to have really, because we want to develop using it, because it's not only a solution in order to optimize the mix of inputs, but it's also a solution for farmers to use, to help them daily, to have less pain of the back, and also to have the optimized mix. And it's really something that I think we have to develop together. So yeah, for sure we will focus on some states and develop the prototypes with them, and then we will have this kind of idea with the subscription, as we explained.
Mm-hmm. I really like the approach of co-creation with the customers, and really also the idea to make it a very affordable solution. As in your vision, you said you want to reach a lot of farmers, obviously using your solution. So that's very good answers here. I think we don't have any more questions from the chat, so I would hand over back to Heiko.
And merci beaucoup again to CMSI.
Thank you.
Was really great. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but that brings me to the 2 most important phrases of last year and this year for the viewers of the live stream. The 2 phrases are "you're on mute" and "you're frozen." Alexander Roth was not frozen. He was the co-mentor of Matthias, but he is ill on short notice. So that was just a picture. Everything is okay with the live stream, even the audio quality, hopefully. And CMSI, thanks a lot. Thanks a million, guys, for one key learning I learned today, that USB is not only the name of a stick, but of a university. It's the University of Sao Paulo, right?
Yes, yes. Like actually is yeah, we say USB because it's an accent.
Okay. Great. So it's up to you, Katharina.
It's up to me to announce the next team going to pitch their project. Right, so we're very much looking forward now to the World Changers, and what is hiding behind that name? Please let us know. And let us know if you're ready, of course.
Greetings, can you guys hear us?
Yeah,
yes,
we can hear you,
Brittany.
Now. Great.
Hey, so the name of our group is the Cybersecurity, and we are the World Changers. So this is the cybersecurity zone where we are going to just discuss the things that we want to change about it. And I'm going to hand it over to my partner, Kiko. Kiko, you're muted.
I'm sorry, y'all. My apologies. Greetings, everyone. We are the World Changers, and I am Kiko Kinney.
And I am Brittany Kennedy Gaither.
Today, our presentation will cover our cybersecurity zone. Here, we will briefly explain a new way to present insider security threats that people can use around the world. In today's computerized world, new risks emerge every hour of the day. Connecting to the internet opens up the possibility of a hacker targeting your organization. Cybercrime is becoming a big business, and cyber risk is a focus of organizations and governments globally. Monetary and reputation risks are high if organizations don't have the appropriate cybersecurity plan.
On this slide, I will talk about our context. First, we are trying to protect Bayer's systems and operations by preventing and responding to cyber incidents. Secondly, we will develop a new strategy that will address threats before they occur. And third, we will talk about equity. Our innovation will help those prevent attacks and feel safe with their personal information. It is very important to protect Bayer from the threat of scams, data theft, and other online vulnerabilities. Thousands of infected web pages are being discovered every day. Hundreds of millions of records have been involved in data breaches over just the last few years. Even here in Atlanta, we experienced a data breach, and it is not easy to recover from such breaches.
I'm sorry, I don't know why this is a hard time. Okay, our mission statement is to develop an ongoing, mature cybersecurity program that supports all areas and addresses the grand challenges in privacy. Overall, we are here to protect information and information infrastructure in cyberspace. We want to determine, analyze, and address all immediate cybersecurity threats.
On this slide, I'm going to talk about the problems. Cybersecurity is one of the most serious economic and national security challenges we face as a nation. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, everyone knows about cybersecurity. Listed here are the three main types of attacks that we face often. Those include social engineering, cloud computing / threats, and phishing attacks. First, I'm going to talk about social engineering, which is the art of manipulating people so they give up confidential information. The types of information these criminals are seeking can vary, but when individuals are targeted, the criminals are usually trying to trick you into giving them your password or your bank account information, even access to your computer to secretly install malicious software. Sometimes if you have social media, you will notice that people will send you messages and they will ask for your login or your password, or you might get a text to your phone saying, hey, we need this information about your bank account, and you may be undergoing social engineering. Then I'm going to talk about cloud computing and threats, which is a data encrypting program that demands payment to release the infected data. The transition to the cloud has brought new security challenges. Since cloud computing services are available online, this means anyone with the right credentials can access it. The availability of enterprise data attracts many hackers who attempt to study the systems, find flaws in them, and exploit them for their benefit. And lastly, I'm going to talk about phishing attacks, which is the practice of sending fraudulent communications that appear to come from a reputable source. This means what really distinguishes phishing is the form of the message and what it takes. The attackers masquerade as a trusted entity of some kind, often a real or plausibly real person or a company the victim might do business with. It's one of the oldest types of cyber attacks, dating back to the 1990s, around the time when I was born. And it's still one of the most widespread and pernicious, with phishing messages and techniques becoming increasingly sophisticated.
Our goals. Our first goal is data protection. We want to protect the confidentiality, reliability, and data of Bayer's operating system. Our second goal is proactive monitoring. We want to prevent cyber attacks by analyzing patterns to sense potential attacks. And our third goal is security response, which is an organized approach to prepare for, identify, respond, and recover from cyber attacks or threats. With our data protection, proactive monitoring, and security response services, the cybersecurity zone will be able to tackle cyber crimes to make Bayer more resilient to these types of attacks. We want to build a cybersecurity knowledge, skills, and capabilities tailored to Bayer.
On this slide, I'm going to discuss the problem versus the solution. As we may know, cyber attacks can potentially cause electrical blackouts, failures of military equipment, and breaches of national security secrets. So the problem, we need to stop future cyber attacks against Bayer. Cyber criminals are plotting cyber attacks and threats with the intentions of breaching data. And our solution is we will develop a cloud security zone that will continuously analyze patterns and behaviors to prevent future cyber attacks and threats. Our job is to completely stop the attack before it results in theft of valuable, sensitive data.
Our process that we came up with is called a cybersecurity zone. It will include 4 security zones that will ensure the protection of Bayer's data. Zone 1 is the cloud security and compliance strategy. It will consist of a team who will address compliance rules and cloud security for Bayer. Zone 1 will be our first line of defense to protect Bayer's data. Step 1 is the user permission and policies. So in this step, we will manage who has access to sensitive data. Bayer will have a list of policies that each associate must follow. Step 2 is to identify and access control. We would divide Bayer's data into categories and make sure that sensitive data is protected and can be accessed only by authorized employees who have a legitimate reason to access it. If sensitive data must be sent across the cloud, we ask that all employees make sure that it is encrypted. It is very vital that associates never ever share their passwords with anybody. Step 3 is we will issue YubiKeys. We will give each employee 2 YubiKeys. The YubiKeys are a hardware authentication device manufactured by Yubico to protect access to computers, networks, and online services that support a one-time password, public key crypto, and two-factor authentication. Combined with lead and password managers, social login, and enterprise single sign-on systems, the YubiKey enables secure access to millions of online services. Our next zone will be zone 2, which is the machine learning and artificial intelligence. This team will be responsible for analyzing and collecting data. The team will continuously analyze and collect all of Bayer's data over the cloud. The information gathered then will be used to build a secure machine learning view or artificial intelligence. Both will be tailored to Bayer's specific needs. It will enable Bayer to reduce incident response times and comply with security best practices. This will aid in zone 3, allowing a secure security zone. Zone 3 is a security zone. This will consist of security experts that will continuously monitor data and traffic to ensure that no suspicious attacks or threats are being computed. Recognizing patterns and behaviors will keep Bayer ahead of cyber criminals. The team will be able to predict cyber attacks by detecting irregular traffic flow and data. The final zone will be zone 4, which is the response team. This team will consist of highly skilled experts that will respond to cyber incidents immediately to ensure that Bayer is able to recover quickly and also avoid future attacks by following these specific guidelines. The first guideline would be to detect the source. The second one is to contain the breach immediately in order to start the recovery process. Next, they will assess the damage. It is very important to know the security of the damage. After that, they will begin the notification process to all Bayer employees, informing them of the attack. This will also help employees be aware of anything unusual. Finally, they will take the proper steps to prevent the same event so it will not happen in the future. Damages resulting from cybercrime will cost the world more than $6 trillion by year 2022. The cybersecurity zone will secure Bayer's environment for keeping data, clouds, and devices protected against cyber threats and attacks. The cybersecurity zone is a comprehensive cybersecurity program that will ensure that every user's security needs are addressed without compromising the needs of others.
The World Changers consist of 3 young ladies, Jada Jones, who unfortunately couldn't be here today with us because she had to take a separate exam, Kiko Kinney, and myself, Brittany Kennedy Gaither. We have come together and committed to make a difference in coming up with better solutions for the world as a whole. That includes anybody who has ever experienced cybersecurity theft, problems, or anything associated with it.
And that brings us to the end. Thank you all for being here today and taking the time to patiently listen to the World Changers. We sincerely would like to thank you for your time and attention today. The World Changers appreciates the opportunity that we had to bring to you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was really inspiring. Kiko, Brittany, great. And good morning to your time zone. While the Indonesian guys have to go to bed nearly, it's quite early in the morning. And Katrina said something quite interesting to me while you were presenting.
Yeah, I think it's a very relatable topic. And I believe every one of us, even if you don't work in a company right now, you all know those emails where somebody tells you you won the lottery, or there's a relative that you've never heard of that you should help urgently. Or I even received a marriage proposal from a former Backstreet Boy. Maybe it was radio, so very sorry, Nick. Yeah, in a happy relationship. Yeah, but honestly, I think it's a great example of how digitalization doesn't just affect companies, but also people in their private life and they
We hear that the audio is poor in a moment. I'm not that sure. As I said, it's a live event, and if the audio is poor, in the moment, but hopefully they will work.
We'll give it a few minutes.
A few minutes. Yeah, great. So Brittany said something, but it doesn't come through to me. I'm sorry for that. Hopefully you can hear me via Zoom. We're working on the audio thing. As we said at the beginning, everything is live. And if you're part of the great DCC 21 show, then it sometimes happens that the audio is not as good as the content we heard before. 3 groups with really, really good and tremendous pitches. And in an ideal world, the audio will be as great as that what we heard.
You understood it perfectly. So it really depends on our technical team. When they're giving us the go, I think we can continue. So what we try to do now is really start with the FAQ session, I believe. If you do have any issues, please let us know. Just give us a sign and then
And the chat is not only for asking questions, but you can use the chat more intensely, but to give us a sign if the audio is not that good. And now I give it to Andreas Flach, the really engaged mentor of the great world changers. And yeah, the stage is yours, Andreas.
Yeah, Heiko, Katharina, thank you for the and congratulations to the team. It was an outstanding pitch here, and it was very interesting how you show us that what the measures can help a company like us to master the security challenges. So with the audio gap, I'm not sure if you can hear me. Maybe Heiko, some sign helps me. Yeah, okay, thank you. I had a question to the topic. Do you have some examples or best practices how we can do identity assets management to implement your zone concept? Maybe you can elaborate this a little bit.
Very interesting question. Beside a good process, the holistic implementation for a user identity and access is the key. Users have to understand the importance of such methods, and the implementation should be close oriented on the business demand and the realistic practice of the users. Also, the technical implementation like YubiKey or a nice authenticator app on a smartphone or a wearable can be the key. That's what we think.
Hey, cool. And it sounds impressive, and it's a direction where we're looking for. One other topic comes up. Do you have special methodologies in mind for monitoring of data or special analysis of behaviors? Is there something which you can have already prepared or in mind for us?
Yes, we will use machine learning, which is a method of data analysis that automates analytical model building. It is a branch of artificial intelligence based on the idea that systems can learn from the data, identify the patterns, and make decisions with minimal human interaction. Machine learning will be tailored again to fit Bayer's specific needs. We'll collect all the Bayer's data sets. The way our security experts in Zone 3, they will be able to respond to machine learning for any unusual traffic, unusual behaviors or patterns to keep Bayer ahead of the cyber attacks and threats. All the experts will be located in a security operations center. This is the type of command facility that is dedicated to monitoring, analyzing, and protecting Bayers from cyber attacks, allowing Bayers to stay ahead of the cyber criminals.
Hey, cool. That it's yeah, nice track, and I love that you have the same SOC approach like we have it already. Good, that fits with your approach. And one topic it is going over all your zones. Yeah, encryption. You mentioned this very frequently. That encryption is a key, and here, especially in the future zone of the cloud, it is really important. I look to Armin, and we talked about this multiple times. And here, maybe what is here in for us, and what is the way for implement from your observation or from your strategy on us?
So as far as data encryption goes, it's the process through which data is encoded so that it remains hidden from inaccessible authorized users. So you're trying to protect private information, sensitive data, and you can enhance the security of communication between the client apps and the servers. In essence, when your data is encrypted, even if an unauthorized person or entity gains access to it, they won't be able to read it. Data encryption in cloud computing is essential for Bayer, as it helps to ensure that the data moving to and from the cloud is encrypted and secure.
Hey, cool. Yeah, that makes sense, and that leads me to my question that comes to my mind: how we transport this to all employees. Yeah, the topic is most people are in a pandemic situation, the home office, and encryption is not always loved. Yeah, you know it from the practical way. And how you bring it to all employees, how we ensure that everybody is convinced and can use it every day. Maybe you have some examples for this.
Okay, we will start by introducing the cloud security zone to all employees in zone 1. So basically, we will set up organization-wide policy and practices that all employees must follow. We will educate them and train the employees so that they are aware of these policies. We will also want to share the possible security risks that can happen in the cloud services so that employees can be aware of that as well. We will also want to establish protocols for what they can do to stay compliant with internal policies and external policies and regulations. In order to support the security of Bayer's applications and data, we highly recommend to conduct a security awareness training program often, and also make information regarding your security policies accessible to ensure that your policies, informations, and procedures are revisited periodically to keep in line with the changing market.
Yeah, makes total sense. And that leads then to the question how we measure this. Now, all this is very efficient. It have to be made and everybody have to follow. And here, do you have any ideas how to measure or what for measures we have in the security zone or KPIs we can do to drive it forward, to have it more transparent for the company? Maybe, Brittany, you can elaborate a little bit like this in this arena.
So our cybersecurity zone, it's a comprehensive cloud security strategy that encompasses the processes and mechanisms that can be used to control the security, compliance, and other risk of cloud computing. The cybersecurity zone will address access, risk management, and governance. Since security concerns are present across many areas of an organization, we will break them into 4 manageable zones and organize them based on areas of abstraction. A well-thought cloud security strategy like cybersecurity zone will protect your organization's valuable assets, arm your enterprise against possible cyber attacks, and allow you to reap the benefits of the cloud with peace of mind.
Really good. Yeah, that that makes sense, and that is very nice, very good explanation. And that was for my questions everything. It was really good elaborated, good presented, and it gives a good clear view what you want to implement and how we can present it, and what is maybe your idea behind the pitch. And with this, I'm handing over, hopefully back to the audio repaired K9 situation, Heiko, right? Hand over back to you.
Thanks a lot, Andreas, and thanks a lot, World Changers. I now know why I so often have to do my cybersecurity training for good reason. You told me again. As far as I know, before Boguslav will give us a presentation about the mighty digital hub, we will start our public voting. We will open our public voting, and the public voting is online in the chat as well, I learned, but yeah, we have to announce now. You have the chance to vote for the first, second, and third team, yeah, in the public voting, and the code is
83268916. So don't worry, we'll can and we will type it also in the chat if that was too quick, but I'm still gonna repeat it. So 83268916.
Yeah, and we have the K9 virus somehow. We're not good to hear. I'm terribly sorry, but you can see the digital hub hoodie, and I'm very proud that I have the possibility to wear it. And in order to get an idea what all of this digital hub and the digital magic and accelerate digital means, I hand over to Bogusz. Dzień dobry, Bogusz, it's your stage.
Good morning, good evening, everyone. I'm super happy to be with all of you, and thanks for the great pitches. I'm impressed with all your ideas, and fingers crossed for the winners. And if I can ask for the presentation, that would be awesome. All right, I've got it, and hopefully I will be able to change the slides. So for those who don't know me, my name is Bogusław Tobiasz, and I am based in Warsaw. I'm the head of the digital hub, and today I have the privilege to give you an overview about the D-Hub, Digital Hub Warsaw. And I will start with the high-level overview about the company. Most likely you know everything, but I want to make sure that you will capture the full picture. So Bayer is a global enterprise with core competences in life science, and we operate across two sectors, across healthcare sector and the agriculture. It's a very innovative company, and we play like a role model in research and development activities. So let me move on to the next slide. Let's have a look if I will be able to do so. Okay, I've got it. Oh, far too far. So let's dive deep into our functions. So as I mentioned, I'm based in Warsaw. That's the capital city of Poland, and we have operations in Poland since '91. The company operates across three sectors: crop science, that's the biggest sector in Poland, and we do produce seeds, crop protection, advanced digital farming solutions for the biggest farmers, agriculture, really advanced solutions in agriculture. The second function talks about pharmaceuticals. Basically, here we are talking about cardiovascular, women's health, oncology, dermatology, radiology, and we do have a lot of advanced solutions when it comes to the radiology, and we operate also in other functional areas. Here in the second area, we do collaborate very closely with hospitals, with doctors. The third division is called consumer health. And here we operate across around pain, cardiovascular, allergy, cold and cold as well. A very interesting portfolio. And let's move on to the next slide. Bayer is a global company. Last year, we end up with the net revenue at the level of 41.4 billion euros. That's a massive amount of money. And what is most important, that out of this net revenue, we managed to reinvest nearly 5 billion euros into research and development, into innovation. So that's a massive amount of money. And if we would compare that with other companies, I think that we should be proud of it. We have nearly 100,000 employees spread across 83 countries, and I'm proud that I have the privilege to work in a very diverse company, and we have operations in the biggest countries across the globe, and that gives us like the opportunity to exchange the best practices, knowledge, and work across different regions. So a few words, let's dive deep and talk about the D-Hub, Digital Hub Warsaw. So IT is building digital to further develop and strengthen our internal workforce. So to accelerate the digital transformation within the company, and also to provide very advanced solutions towards our clients, towards doctors, towards farmers, and also towards patients. Yes, so we want to drive our talent at scale strategy, and we want to in-source capabilities that we didn't have in the past when it comes to software engineering, data scientists, cybersecurity specialists, in order to drive a digital transformation and develop game-changing solutions, the solutions that will help us to transform and deliver added value services and systems and platforms towards our customers. So a few words about what we want to do. So within the next 13 months, we want to ramp up our internal development capabilities up to 400 skilled resources. So the primary focus is purely to focus on crop science, to ramp up resources and deliver solutions for the crop science, but also we want to scale up our internal capabilities when it comes to cybersecurity and risk management. So the organizations that we're gonna build and that we've built already in Warsaw will be fully embedded into the global teams. So we don't want to build an isolated island in Warsaw. We're going to work closely with product owners that are spread across the various headquarters in Germany, in the States, in order to deliver the best out of it. A few words about values and culture. So the DHub is an accelerator for the digital solutions for at Bayer. It's part of the established global network. And the beauty of this concept is that in the one building and in the one country, under the one roof, we're gonna have people responsible for different divisions. It means that at a certain point in time, we will be able to swap people between different divisions to build the knowledge, to empower people to exchange the best practices between different functional areas in order to build a diverse and inclusive environment. The diversity is really important for us. As we started to work on the project, we established a clear and measurable criteria and KPIs for the program. So in this year, we want to reach 30% of diversity when it comes to the gender diversity, and we are even better because we are at the level of 33%. So 33% of females, and that's an awesome result. And at the end, what we want to do is to fulfill our vision: health for all and hunger for none. So let's move on a little bit deeper. Why Poland, and why we decided to set up this DHub in Warsaw? So Poland was chosen for a rich pool of people, access to many technical universities, and this entrepreneurial mindset. A lot of well-educated people capable to speak in various languages, reach access to scientists, and many different universities spread across the biggest cities. Poland itself has nearly 38 million of citizens. So that's a pretty big country across the European map. And let's move on further. Let's dive deep into the DHub and the focus. So the current focus is, as I mentioned, is to ramp up resources. We started to work on the project, on the recruitment projects nearly 4 months ago. The current focus is to purely recruit data scientists, software engineers, data stewards, and data engineers that will help us to design and develop solutions that are scalable from day one. So everything what we're gonna do in the DHub by default should be scalable, and we are looking for people with think big mentality. Obviously, the crop science is the top priority for us in the first phase of the project, but recently, like a couple of months ago, we decided to open up the recruitment program for the other divisions, like for pharma, and we have a very nice recruitment pipeline from pharma, and also for our colleagues from consumer health and enabling functions, enterprise platform and infrastructure. And I cannot forget about cybersecurity and risk management. Yeah, so currently we are looking for cybersecurity engineer, analysts, who can help us to strengthen our security aspects. So a few words about technologies. Yeah, so Bayer is a well-known, recognized company with over 150 years of tradition in healthcare and nutrition. And the company grown through acquisitions, mergers and acquisitions, and obviously internal development as well. As you can see here, I wanted to give you an overview about the key technologies that we've got in-house. So when it comes to the cloud providers, we have like multiple players. The biggest players over here, I would say that majority of systems that we've got for crop science are based in AWS, so Amazon Cloud. When it comes to radiology in pharma, we have a very advanced solutions in Google Cloud. However, we have partially we have a lot of systems in Microsoft Azure Cloud as well. When it comes to programming languages, obviously you can start with .NET technologies, which is not visible on that slide, but we have a lot of systems written in the past in .NET. However, right now we are heavily focused on Java, JavaScript. When it comes to the data science and data scientists, I would say that we would love to find people with R, with Python experience, different type of network frameworks, infrastructure is quite advanced as well. So I believe that we have plenty of opportunities with for people with different backgrounds and from different regions as well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the how we want to ramp up, and maybe that's a good opportunity for you as well. So a month ago, we decided to kick off the first internship program for students. So Bayer is looking for individuals who are passionate for what they do. So we want to find, in next year, we want to find 23 students who are capable to demonstrate strong leadership skills. Yeah. So who are capable to think big, who are capable to innovate and simplify existing infrastructure, existing systems, and capable to change the status quo. Obviously, the diversity is the most important for us. So I would love to have people from different regions, from different countries, capable to work with us. We call this program Program Your Career. And the program is designed to support participants in their journey to become Bayer's IT leaders of tomorrow. So obviously we can focus on technical capabilities, but we would like to find out the Bayer's leaders of tomorrow. We aim to offer interns internal positions of responsibility in the IT group when they will continue to learn. So we're looking for students who are on the fifth or sixth semester, and also with strong leadership skills. People who are able to change the status quo, to come forward with the proposal, how to innovate, how to be the game changer on the market. So let's talk about what and why we want to do so and what we want to do. Basically, we would like to establish a working relationship with technical universities. And in Poland, we decided to sign off the collaboration with 2 universities. So shortly, we would like to build a healthy mix of environment. In the DHub, we would like to build a healthy mix of environment where we will have a juniors, middle people, and senior engineers who will be able to moderate and facilitate and develop junior positions. Also, we would like to increase the visibility of the DHub and IT organization within Bayer on the Polish and Central and Eastern European market. As I mentioned, in next year, we want to onboard 23 students in 2 cohorts, the first in February next year and the second in October next year. And additionally, what we're looking for is to establish a long-term relationship and collaboration with universities when it comes to research and development projects. So we would like to offer a paid internship program. So that would be like a 5-month assignment. We would like to ask our students to work with us 3 days a week, because it's really important that students will be able to continue their studies and will be able to write their promo docs, and from the other side, they will be able to learn new things, develop, and work on magnificent projects. Also, during this 5-month assignment, we would like to give you the opportunity to work on tangible projects. So we believe that if you will get this chance, then the best way is to learning by doing. Also, you will have a chance to participate in different career days at universities. And if we will kick off the first research grants, then definitely would like to keep you involved in that as well. So let's talk about the hiring process and program. What I would like to give you is, I would like to encourage you to visit our landing page, accelerate-digital.org, where you will find out all the necessary information about the DHub and also about the postings. What I would like to also encourage you is to follow us on different social media platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, and also Twitter, because we have a lot of promo materials out there and you can learn a lot. Recently, we've organized a series of different meetups, virtual meetups due to the pandemic period. So please keep an eye on that and sign up for the meetups. And for example, over the weekend, we will organize like the second hackathon for pharma and enterprise platform and infrastructure, which will be organized in the city called Gliwice on the south of Poland. So keep an eye, a lot of good content. A few more words about the way how we could potentially collaborate. 2 months ago, we decided to introduce a referral program. So we believe that you know all the experts on the market. And why we do so, why we did that. So IT industry in Poland contains nearly 60,000 companies. So it's like a pretty tough market and we have to compete for the same resources. The demand for the resources in last year increased by 58%, and this year between June and July by 313. So we have to operate on a very competitive market. And 70% of candidates, IT candidates, are the passive ones. So we believe that you know your network and you can recommend your peers, your colleagues. And we would like to introduce this program, referral program, to you. So if you know anyone who is would like to change the job, then please recommend that person via the recruitment portal. So just type in Google Buyer Career Recruitment Portal. So for each referral, you can obtain some financial benefits. So it's like a 4,500 Polish zloty, which is roughly 1,000 euro for one referral. If the person will go through the probation period, then you will get that extra benefit. And we would like to introduce also some kind of a gamification vibe. So if you recommend like 3 candidates, then you will get the extra bonus at the level of nearly 2,500 euros. So that's an additional benefit that you can get us, and you can help us to ramp up the DHub to fulfill the mission and vision and ramp up resources. Okay, so 2 more slides about the technology. So Bayer is a data-driven company. That's the fact. And within the DHub, we have got a combination of the robotics, software, IoT devices, data science, and image processing, all powered by the cloud. So everything what we're gonna do in the future will be based by default in the cloud. So thanks to the technology, we can prescriptively drive out field operations, greatly reduce carbon emission, so CO2 carbon emission, and more accurately provide growers products that fit the world in order to fill in the mission. So hunger for none, health for all. And so currently we buy and process the data from satellites. And thanks to the data, we can precisely predict potential diseases in a field with accuracy up to 1 meter. So currently we've got such a brilliant technology in-house. Also, we have the biggest private fleet of ag research drones in the world. So if you love technology, and then I can assure you that you will have a lot of fun at Bayer, and you will be able to fix and address the biggest challenges in healthcare and nutrition. So let's move on to the last slide, and I will try to sum up. So thanks to advanced technology and advanced digital farming, we can design experiments and plant seeds. We can monitor, grow, and apply treatments directly on the field. take into account global warming. It's a quite big challenge. How to address global warming? And we are here to fix the biggest challenges. And also, we can harvest crops and collect results directly from the field. And last but not the least, decide on next products that we will be able to launch in the upcoming years in order to fit growing and aging population. So we've got a really, really nice purpose. And at this point in time, I would like to thank you very much for your attention. I hope that was like a good overview about the D-Hub, and this is what we want to do in Warsaw. And if you are interested, then let's stay in touch. I'm available on different social media platforms, so we can connect over the LinkedIn or Twitter. And if you will have any questions, then do not hesitate to drop me a note, and I will get back to you as soon as it's possible. And with that, I will hand over the call to the studio of Heiko. The call is again yours.
Dziękuję bardzo, Bogusz. That was a great and impressive overview. And hopefully next time in Warsaw as a hybrid or fully physical event. And now I would like to invite my two Bayer colleagues that helped with the public and the expert voting here into the studio, as Bogusz said. Here, go there. Thanks for joining this year's Digital Campus Challenge. Please be so kind. Everyone turn on the camera. As I said before, every single one of you is a winner. Every single one of you is a winner. And I hand over to Katharina. You have the orange paper.
Thank you very much to everyone, not just the teams that have put a lot of work into preparing the pitches, but also, of course, to the mentors for all their help, for all their time they spent, and of course to you as an audience who stayed with us until this very important moment. And let me open the envelope. This is the drum roll moment. So, thank you for that. So, this year's winner of the Digital Campus Challenge are Alessandro and Brian, PLC 50 Hunters.
And as Katharina Notch said, she forgot to say, the PLC 50 Hunters are the top notch.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, very kind of you.
No, every one of you were a winner, as I said before, but I heartily congratulate the PLC 50 Hunters in Indonesia. You become the first place among 334 teams, and you were just TG. This means terrific, great, tremendous, and groundbreaking.
Great words, Heiko, but what do they actually win?
I have to have a look on my paper. There are too much hearts on it. No, I know it. They can win a trip to Berlin. And if they choose Berlin, hopefully, then we have a big travel group. Because due to the pandemic, the Singaporean winners from 2019 and the Brazilian winners, the Chemometrics from last year, were not able to do their trip to Berlin. And I'm very happy to be your guide on this big travel group and show you not only the city, but the big side of Bayer in Berlin.
Well, sometimes good things take time, but it still means they're good, and we're very committed to letting all the winning teams get the opportunity to reach a travel destination and to enjoy a great time in a city with B, whichever city that might be.
Right. And last year I end the live stream with the words, "Stay well." This year, according to a German initiative, I will say, "Vaccination for all, Corona for none."
Thank you all for your participation, and enjoy the rest of the day, whatever time it may be in your time zone.
You were a great audience. Please stay in the Zoom call for a second. And thanks again to the World Changers and to CMSI. Was really great. words, but my last words
For
are...
today, I hope, not to generalize.
For today, even if I have to wear a Darth Vader mask next year, we will do the final of the Digital Campus Challenge 2022 as a physical event. Hopefully, I'm not wrong. Full stop. Take care, stay well, see you.